It's an anime tradition at this point, but just about every single series needs to have a beach episode. And this one is practically a giant beach adventure, as Naofumi and his crew team up with two mysterious warriors on the Calmira Archipelago. Hello my friends and welcome to another review of the Rising of the Shield Hero, and the perfect episode for the summer season is right here. This was a fantastic island getaway episode and I really enjoyed it. I love that it didn't go too far down the rabbit hole of the beach episode trope. I mean, don't get me wrong, we got to see the beach and bathing suits, but we didn't get to see any of the other big tropes like smashing a watermelon with a bat or weird sexy shenanigans. That's not to say that you're not going to get to see some fan service. I know that a lot of Raftalia fans are certainly going to enjoy seeing her in a bathing suit, but it's nothing too scandalous. But most of this episode follows Naofumi and his team as they make their way to the Calmira Archipelago, where they're going to have the opportunity to level up themselves in a very quick fashion, going up against other monsters, and even teaming up with some new friends, like these two characters we saw introduced in the last episode. There's Lark and his female friend Therese. These two characters seem like they're ultimately going to be very important for a number of reasons. One, they're incredibly powerful. They seem like they're experienced warriors. Lark in particular, who as the intro would actually already show, uses a big scythe weapon, which is incredibly awesome. I especially like Lark's friend Therese, who's from some other mysterious land where they speak another language. I only say that because they intentionally bring it up in this episode, and the only reason they would do that is because it's probably important to the story in some sense. It also reminds us that yes, Naofumi still has that special ability with his shield, where he can pretty much understand any language he wants. He can even imbue this special ability to his teammates like Raftalia and Philo, allowing them to perfectly understand Therese herself. And Lark pretty much immediately hits it off with Naofumi, much to his anger at first, but as the episode actually goes on, he actually ends up warming up to him, which is actually kind of nice to see, because pretty much every other character he's ran into has been incredibly annoying, especially the three other heroes, who again in this episode are just... Man, I freaking hate these characters. I even thought that maybe even Ren and Itsuki would eventually get a little bit likable, but no, every single time they're on screen, I basically just want to kick them in the balls just like Philo does. And they do a great job of making them seem so foolish when they're actually going to the archipelago for the first time. They're getting seasick on the ship, they're not being helpful at all, and for the most part, this entire episode just plays them up like a bunch of freaking stooges. But like I said, most of the episode follows Naofumi as he's teaming up with Lark and Therese as they go around fighting monsters and going on big epic adventures with one another. Honestly, it's refreshing to see, and you get to see that Naofumi is actually warming up to these characters so much that he actually wants them to actually join his party at some point. I don't think that's actually going to end up happening, but if it does, hell, the more the merrier, and these characters seem really freaking awesome. But again, there's something very mysterious about them. They seem to have some sort of weird ulterior motive, and they come from a land where apparently they still think that the Shield Hero is a total heel. They absolutely hate him, they think he's a scumbag, but even as this episode goes on, they don't believe that Naofumi is the actual Shield Hero himself, which is played for laughs multiple times. My favorite thing about this episode is actually the downtime, not when actual action is happening. There's a great moment where Naofumi and his team is hanging out with Lark and Therese at night at a bar, having fun, and this is like the first time that it looks like Naofumi has had like genuine fun with his friends, with his partners, and just having a really good time. He apparently can also hold his booze in this land pretty freaking well. Raftalia, on the other hand, gets a little drunk, which leads to one of the best scenes of the episode, where she ends up having a arm wrestling match with that one knight who gave her trouble in the previous episode, and she ends up just completely destroying him. Hell, she might as well just be Raftalia at this point. She was incredibly freaking awesome. The other heroes, of course, can't really hold their booze or anything, but again, this entire scene is mostly just a nice, relaxing moment, before, of course, we get the big final twist at the very end of the episode. So, after teaming up with Lark and Therese and fighting against a bunch of monsters, they get a lot of cool loot, and two of these actually end up being these ridiculous penguin costumes with Santa hats, which allow both Raftalia and Naofumi Naofumi to dive to the bottom of the ocean, because Philo has discovered some sort of like hidden chamber of some sorts, and when they actually go in there, they discover that there's actually another hourglass. And this is really important, because wherever an hourglass is, there's the potential for the wave to come in and destroy it. And it just so happens that there's 48 hours until the next wave hits. So it looks like this little vacation is going to be cut short, and it looks like the very first season is going to end with a lot of action. So what's the rundown on this episode of The Rising of the Shield Hero? This was an incredibly pleasant episode. Not only were the characters just really fun to see, but I think just the change of scenery is what really made this episode work. Going from a fantasy setting to a more tropical setting honestly was really refreshing. A lot of different new monsters to battle against, such as these weird chimera creatures, giant freaking evil penguin monsters, and even slimes, which look a lot like Rimuru Tempest from that time I got reincarnated as a slime. It was pretty freaking awesome. But really, it's the new characters of Lark and Therese who really managed to hold up this episode quite a bit, and just finally getting to see Naofumi enjoy himself in this world. It's been a long time coming. I mean, at the very beginning of the series, just like anyone who's used to the isekai genre would be thrilled to be thrown in this fantasy world where they get to go on adventures, meet amazing people, and just have this great setting to have fun in. But he hasn't been able to enjoy it until this moment. And of course, his luck always runs out. Just as it looks like he's having fun and enjoying himself, he realizes that it's only a matter of time before the next wave is coming. So he's going to have to warn everybody else about this big battle which is getting ready to take place. And it also makes sense as to why we see all that crazy imagery in the intro of everybody fighting on this island and teaming up together, because shit about to get real. Again, another thing I loved about this episode were all the Raphtalia moments. They are just fantastic. The moment of her getting drunk and arm wrestling was really fun. The moment where she had the bathing suit was freaking adorable, as she just wanted Naofumi to notice. And when he does notice, at first she's really happy, but in his mind, the only reason he's happy about this is because she's going to be able to wear that penguin suit to dive down to the bottom of the ocean. He's just completely oblivious to the fact that Raphtalia is incredibly in love with him. Philo in a bathing suit was one of the most adorable looking things that I've seen in the series. She's the cutest little sister that you've ever seen. And then of course there's Lark and Therese, who are awesome. Lark is just a really fun and boisterous character, and Therese seems like there's a little bit more going underneath than we actually realize. She also has some really unique magical abilities, being able to summon this blue fire, which she can actually use around her teammates and it won't hurt them at all. And it allows her to take out multiple enemies at once. And a nice little detail, which may or may not be an animation error, is when she utilizes these abilities, her hair and eyes actually change a different color. Otherwise, they seem like they'd be really great for Naofumi's team, and I can't really wait to see why they're so important, where they're from, and what their ultimate motive is going to be, because like I said, I don't think they're here just to level up. There's something else going on here, and they're keeping it very secret. Otherwise, this was an incredibly pleasant and awesome episode, the type of episode that is made perfect for the summer break. So I have to give this one a 5 out of 5. I truly enjoyed this one with all of the funny, relaxing, and action-packed moments. This episode of Shield Hero definitely has it all. So thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more anime reviews, topic videos, reactions, and of course, if you want to help support the channel, make sure to check out my Patreon and PayPal account. You'll find links for all that stuff in the comment section below, and definitely tell me what you thought about this episode in the comment section below. If you had any favorite moments, the new characters of Lark and Therese, what's going to happen in the big next wave, how the season's going to end, let's just talk about it. Comment section below. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay dandam, baby.